What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope y'all are having a great day. Me and MoodyTuco, we are back for round 3 today. And what are we doing?
We're ranking the CSGO knives, specifically the model and not all the finishes, because that would be like a 4-hour video.
It is
like
about like
700
hundreds.
knives.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're not gonna
we'll
do that. We're
take
just
into
gonna do-
account though, like finishes. You know
Yeah.
how finishes look on certain knives. But the main thing is the knife itself, its animations. You know how it plays in game, and just the overall aesthetic. I think we'll just now we're not. By the way, we're not gonna rank the 2 stock knives. I mean, I don't think there's a point. Everybody just stares at them.
Yeah, you've seen them enough. I feel like you can place them in your own. I think personally, that's just a waste of time. I think everyone's here for really the actual knives in the game.
All right, the first knife we've got up is the Bayonet, and
I mean, come on, this is a
flying around.
classic. This is, I mean, listen, I feel like the Bayonet is just a beautiful knife. You know, it's got a very nice blade. It looks good. The animation is absolutely insane. I mean, probably has one of the coolest like deploy animations in the whole game. I think, no doubt. It looks sick.
Dude, that
It is
throw,
sick.
it's just it does not get old. You
It does
love
not get
to
old.
see this.
It's so sick.
You hit like an
fucking
op shot
iconic.
and then boom,
Boom.
pull out
Exactly.
the bayo. Oh, it's wonderful.
I feel like the only criticism I have of the stock Bayonet is that in a lot of the finishes that aren't like they don't change the handle color of the knife. It does have like the cream. I'm not even sure what type of color that is.
It's like
kinda
a
washed
deep
out
green,
white.
navy green,
It's like
maybe.
a deep green. Yeah, it's not even like navy green. It's kind of like washed out green. And it can look a little weird with some of the finishes. Like I was thinking about getting a tiger tooth Bayonet, and I didn't necessarily like the handle, but I like the blade. But I think it's probably one of my favorite knives in the game still, no doubt.
It does not have any rare animations. However, like I said, it has an absolutely crispy pull-out animation, and we've got a nice long blade that makes gamma finishes wonderful. The gamma Dopplers. I think the blue gem on this is really cool
is
as
insane.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see. All right, so what
I
are we
think it
thinking of
deserves
the
to go in. I
A.
personally put an A tier.
A
I don't
tier.
think it's S tier. I think there are definitely better knives.
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
because it doesn't have any new rare animations, and I feel like that kind of really gives
Drags
a
it down
boost to
just
the
a little
knives.
bit, but I mean,
Yeah.
overall, an absolutely wonderful knife. Just not as much, extra stuff on it as we would expect with the S tier.
Yeah, but it's still a good knife. So next
Okay.
up, we have the Bowie knife. I'll let
Okay.
you go ahead.
All right. So the Bowie is cool. I think it just has a few flaws that really drag it down for me. With as you can see on screen right now, you don't see the other hand. So imagine you buy gloves for this. And by the way, we use black gloves for all of the knives so that there's no, like matching that, looks better for one knife than the other. But you don't see one glove. So let's say you have gloves. You literally don't see one of the hands, which is like a huge drawback for me.
Yeah, I think it also looks just kind of odd, considering that every other knife in the game has both hands. This one doesn't. I think I understand why they did it. I think because the blade's so long that they didn't want it to like. I just don't know though. I think the animations are cool. I actually think it's kind of a nice looking knife.
I agree. Yeah, I mean,
I just the left hand is missing. It's kind of weird. And
it
the
throws it
animations are
off.
really nice. I like the swing animation, like the heavy stab animation looks really cool.
it's very fluid. I want to say, like
it is.
very nice and smooth.
It's
I
like
really
60
like that.
FPS animation. Like they really put every frame in there. It looks good, but
It's
I don't
very
know how I feel
fluid.
about the lack of
Yeah.
other hand. I feel like that kind of tanks it a lot,
Takes it
honestly,
a
for
lot.
me.
But I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a bad knife. I think the animations and other parts of this knife is what brings it down.
It looks really good with especially one like a lot of finishes, like fades look good with it.
Yeah.
It looks good with basically any type
I
of
think the
pattern-based
emeralds, the
finish.
gem
Emeralds
knives
look
are probably gonna look
crazy.
insane in CS2. However, this is a CS list. So yeah, what are we thinking on this?
I feel like C tier is kind of brutal just for one drawback of having one less hand, but I mean, if you spend so much money on some gloves and then you can't see one of your gloves, I feel like that's pretty bad. I want to say either B tier.
I would not say B tier. I would not say it's a B tier.
You wouldn't say B tier? Okay, I think
it's
C tier is
between
where it's
C.
just.
I think it's gonna be very low C tier. For me.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty low in the C tier. I don't think it deserves D tier personally. I think it's kind of brutal for it. I think there's
Yeah.
definitely some knives on this list that deserve a D tier,
Oh,
and this is not one of them.
absolutely. All right. Next up, guys, we have an absolute demon of a knife. We've got the butterfly knife, and I'm sure you guys know where this is gonna
Beautiful
go.
knife.
I mean,
Beautiful
for
knife.
so many reasons. I mean, let's talk about first the aesthetic. The knife is perfect. It's got great dimensions. The blade is like a, nice, good curve.
blade. But you also get more. You get more than the blade with this knife. I feel like you get the handle. You can get some really nice finishes that have really like clean handles. If you get like an emerald, you have the green blade with this really nice like lime green handles.
Oh yeah.
Animations are sick. Multiple animations for deploying it. Multiple inspect animations. I mean, it's crazy. It's a fidget spinner. You could start spinning it around. It's like one of the most expensive knives for a reason. It's insane.
It's absolutely worth it. If you think about getting you want to pay a little bit extra for a nicer knife, this is 100% worth it in my books, because you get so much. You don't get tired of the deploy animations, the inspect animations. The finishes look wonderful.
I think this is probably easy S tier.
I mean, absolutely S tier.
Is there even a doubt about it? You know it's S tier.
Y'all know it's S tier. We know it's S tier. It's the best knife in the game.
I think arguably it is the best knife in the game. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right.
Next up, we have the classic knife.
Here it is.
The classic knife is probably one of the most base knives to enjoy. If you like a little bit of nostalgia, you played CS 1.6 and you played CS Source, you recognize this knife instantly, and it's brought back HD quality. Still has the weird like blood splatter beige pattern. I never understood what that looked like, but it's cool. It's a kitchen knife. It looks like a really advanced kitchen knife, and it actually looks really good with some patterns. I think the fade particularly looks really good on this knife.
And what you guys see right there, the only knife in the game to have an idle animation.
Yeah,
really cool.
It's the only reason is because I think it had an idle animation in CS Source. So
yes,
you get a little. That's the only
sick.
Big benefit. It has really cool animations. Does it have a nice rare animation? There is a rare animation for it. It's just ridiculously rare.
Okay. Do you know what the chance of?
Oh, that was right there.
Ah!
You might be able to do it pretty quick. You just do FR. I think.
Oh,
there you go.
Yes.
There it is.
Finally. Yo, it took us so long to get this for no reason. God.
So it has a rare animation.
It does have a rare animation.
It's a pretty base knife. If you like this knife, I like you because I like this knife. I think people hate it. It looks goofy because it looks like a kitchen knife. I think it looks cool.
No,
I think this is B tier.
B tier for sure. Okay.
Next up, we have the controversial. Well, for me, it was Falchion Knife.
Boom. Here's the Falchion Knife. Okay. I have a few things that I want to say about this.
Go for it.
I feel like it's a super sleeper pick for a couple reasons. Okay. I feel like everybody sees this as like one of those like small, unlikable knives. I think if you like these like, these like little switchblade flip knives that are like small, I feel like this is quite a unique knife in the sense that it's small and it also moves around, right? And let's talk about the animations here.
These are pretty nice. Animations are clean. As the coolest spin animation, he throws up the OK sign. I mean, that's pretty cool. Also has the rare animation, which I'm not gonna even talk about. We'll throw it up on screen. It's pretty cool. He bounces
incredibly. It's a
insanely rare animation.
1 in 100 or 1 in 110, something like that. But it's got a super rare animation, which I think is a huge bonus because let's say you hit like a shot and then you get it like that. I don't know. It just makes it it just makes it super exciting to do. But yeah, the regular inspect is pretty cool. Nice and clean. And
I think one of the things that I feel like you didn't mention that is a big important one. This is one of the only knives in the game where the finish on the blade ends up on the handle. So if you have a ruby, you have emeralds, rubies, fades, marble fade, all those, you end up having almost like most of your knife actually having a finish on it. So I think that is actually really cool in itself.
I'd say those are the positives. I mean, obviously the negative is that it's a small knife. The blade is small, but honestly, it's a cheaper knife, and you get what you pay for with this knife as well. But I think it's a sleeper pick.
It is a pretty sleeper pick. I used to actually hate this knife. I would actually if you asked me probably like 5 years ago, I would put this in F tier, no doubt. But I kind of had it coming around with this knife. I actually like it a lot more than I used to. I think it deserves. I think you could put it in. I prefer it over the Bowie knife.
Definitely over Bowie. I would not say more than the classic.
Maybe
is it low C tier?
I think top of C tier. You could argue. but I want to say B tier honestly because it has the unique finishes and that kind of is crazy.
It does.
But I
That
think C tier.
I think it's
where
a
it
B
should-
tier knife. I'm not putting it
Okay.
in C. I think
yeah,
I think for
I feel like that's just an
how
offensive
cheap it
knife.
is, you know, the rare animation, and plus, like I said, it's a small knife with, you know, a flip like style to it. I
Pretty
think
sick.
it deserves B. You know,
Yeah,
nothing
I'm a fan of
standoutish, but it's a good knife.
On
I
to our
guess.
next flip knife.
I would
The
call
flip
this
knife.
the big brother of the Falchion knife.
Yeah,
and
this is like
the flip
Falchion
knife.
Plus.
Correct.
All right. So I used to have a flip knife, Damascus steel, battle scarred, you know, with the black pattern. First off, I like to say this knife, well, it used to be cheap, but it's actually kind of expensive now. I think it's because the blade on it is comically large for
Very
a flip
large,
knife. Like
yeah.
it's actually most of the knife is blade, and the rest of it is like tiny little handle. But it looks really good with a lot of finishes.
Yep.
You can get a ruby finish. Any of the gems finish look crazy. Fade looks insane.
Absolutely.
Marble fade looks great.
And by the way, the gem finishes on this knife are astronomically expensive. It's
They
in
are
the
a little
$3,000,
overpriced. I feel like.
$5,000. It's
I mean, I
actually
think
crazy.
the blade is so big.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Now
it's worth it though.
I don't know. I think it's a bit overpriced in my opinion. I also would like to mention, let's talk about the pull-out animation. Let's say you don't like the Falchion. You want a little bit of a bigger knife. You want a little bit of a better animation on the
Ooh,
pull-out.
perfect.
The inspect. The Falchion is like a step up. You know, you want something a little bit nicer. I think this is the knife to go with.
Yep. And there, you can find some really affordable finishes for this knife, which makes it a pretty big plus. I feel like some of the more rare finishes are a little bit overpriced, and you might be better off getting another knife. But
They're very
I think
expensive.
this is a good. This, yeah,
But
they're like
this is a
extremely
good
for
knife
no
for
reason.
sure.
It's a good. Knife.
Is there rare animations?
No rare animations on this. Knife.
Okay, yeah, no rare animations.
I think that's actually a big minus for me. Is the animations are
Yeah.
low-key a little boring on this knife.
I would
Not that I'm saying
agree.
that's a bad thing, but it's just very standard. You know, your dude just kind of looks around at it,
Yeah.
inspects
Which-
it, he opens it. I mean,
I think
it's a
in our
knife.
eyes, we see rare animations as a huge plus because it adds something to the knife, you know?
It breaks
that
up the
you don't-
monotony of you using the knife. You know, you don't
Exactly.
want to be too bored with it, and so I think I still
Top of
like
B
this
tier?
life a lot. I think it deserves top of B tier.
Top of B tier. Yeah, I think I like it just a teeny bit over the classic knife, but I mean, I can't say we've had any bad knives so far at all.
Not at all. They're coming up soon, though.
Okay, the gut knife is
Boy, oh boy,
controversial.
oh boy. The gut knife, very divisive.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is I think now with, you know, CS2 and just the amount of time it's been in the game, I think people are starting to come around on this knife a little bit, a tiny bit. I think people are starting to like it a little bit.
You know, I wish I was one of those people. I like. I don't know. Something about the
No,
gut
I'm
knife
not-
to me just
I
doesn't
understand. I
ring true.
agree.
I wish I could say like CS2's coming out. I'm gonna cop a gem gut knife. I would never say that. That is not a sentence I would ever say. I think the animation for pulling it out is pretty cool. You spin it around.
Same
but you know
animation
what
as
you
the
also do
Huntsman,
that
by
for?
the way.
The Huntsman. You know the
And-
Huntsman. We're not even at the Huntsman yet. We're not even gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
The gut
well, we'll
knife,
talk about that later, but
it's just it's a little thick. The blade is too thin. Is too short.
that is the
Most of the
biggest
knife is
complaint.
handled.
Right, I 100%. Do you want to talk about kitchen knives? What are you chopping meat with that? You making lamb chops with that?
It
What?
looks like a
Bro.
cleaver. Like this is actually a kitchen knife. This you
I
can
mean,
cook with this knife.
Like I get like the top is for like, you know, fish or whatnot, but it does not. I don't know. Maybe some people like it. It looks a little off to me.
I just thought it just looked weird how long it is at the handle and then how short the
Oh,
blade is.
it's a thick,
It's a
it's
little
a thick
chode,
boy.
and you know,
It's-
there's nothing wrong with that.
I-
I just think that I just don't like it that much.
It's not as aesthetically pleasing at all as some of the other knives.
Some of the finishes can go hard, but I think I'd
Yeah.
rather spend my money
No,
on a knife.
yeah, I mean, no rare animations and same animation, pull-out animation as the Huntsman. Okay. I mean, I don't want to do this, but
I do not want to do this either. I think it gets D tier. I really
I'm
hate to
gonna
say
have
that.
to do D tier, yeah.
I'm sorry to all the gut knife enjoyers. It's nothing personal, really. I'm not a big fan of this knife. I don't
Compared
think
to
I don't
other
think
knives,
near plate
honestly,
are.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but I'm not gonna hate on you if you have one. I just don't like it
yeah,
myself.
absolutely. So again, I think like some emeralds or something like that definitely looks cool on that knife.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
now next up we've got the Huntsman knife, and
Ooh. Now you see this.
this right here, we like this.
This is a good knife.
All right, now I personally own one. You know, heads up, just letting y'all know by it. However, I'm gonna keep it objective here, right? I think this knife is severely underrated. It is extremely cheap. You know, you can get like normal, nice looking finishes for a couple $100s, right? I think
Yeah.
aesthetically, like it's got a nice blade. You know, we got the serrated back, which I think looks great on this knife. I think the lines on this knife are clean.
It's a
and
very
long,
appealing looking
right?
knife. Huge blade, gigantic blade on this knife, which is honestly a huge plus because for the price you're paying, you can get a nice finish for a pretty cheap price, and you can look at that finish all day because the blade is so goddamn big on this knife.
Right.
And I think that's perfect on it.
I mean,
So-
yeah, the pull-out animation is
Is
primo with this knife because with the gut knife, it doesn't hit as much. This is a big blade. You know, you see it spin, it does not get old. It's so
It has
sick.
like enough spin. You can probably take off with that knife. Like it's so big.
Yeah.
I love this knife. I think it's highly underrated.
My negative
honestly.
with this knife is no rare animation, but that's okay. You know, you,
It's
can, you
alright.
can't have it all.
I think this is an easy A tier or S tier. I'm fine with either one.
I would put
personally
it. I would put
here.
it low A tier, right? I think
Yeah.
this, you guys probably didn't expect this, but we are personal Huntsman enjoyers, and I think these are severely underrated.
I would agree. Less than the Bayonet.
Absolutely,
Definitely a
definitely
good
less
knife.
to the Bayonet.
Next up, we have another big hitter, the Karambit.
And here it is.
Ooh,
Oh, the Rambit.
easily one of the nicest knives in the game, no doubt. Now, you know, Karambit knives and just in general are probably the coolest looking knives ever. I mean, curved blade, got the crazy handle, you can spin it around. I mean, you know, pull up the rare animation real, not the rare animate, you know, the nice little
course.
spin, you know?
I mean, you
Let's see
can
if we can get
basically infinitely, you know, like
It's gonna be
spin
a
it
fidget spinner
around.
knife once again. You can
It's
keep playing with
got-
it all day.
This
Multiple
is
animations.
one of the rare knives that this is what I think the only one that sits to the side, which is
Yeah.
really cool and unique. You see your gloves very well. By the way, if you want to do a glove knife combo, these show your gloves extremely well. And I think
Yeah, it
that,
actually centers your hands really high up, which is a little. I don't know why the other knives don't do that. I think it's because the blade is sitting on the other side, so his hands are a little closer to each other. It looks sick.
I mean,
great
it's a wonderful
animations.
knife. The,
Very expensive. That's the
Absolutely
only
elegant
downside.
knife. Obviously expensive. The gem finishes are thousands on thousands. Oh man, like
blue
5
gem.
figures. Of course, let's talk about the blue gem, the 387, I believe, blue gem.
Yeah.
You know, the $1.5 million Karambit. But I mean, listen, this knife
I think it
is
deserves
sauce.
it. It's a beautiful knife. It's again one of the best knives in the game. It's iconic. You see, you know, Critical Ops is that the mobile Counter Strike I talked about last
I think
time?
so. Yeah.
Copies
I
this
mean,
knife.
they
And you know
finessed
that
this, of
they
course.
finessed the fade. You know, I mean, think about it. When you think about CSGO knives, you probably actually think about the Karambit fade. Right about the Karambit. Honestly, probably the Karambit fade is probably the one you think about. That's the one I think about.
Yeah.
Counter Strike
Sure,
knives.
sure.
S tier.
S tier. I mean, right. I think honestly,
You-
I would say it's
interchangeable.
interchangeable. I know a lot of people like to rank the butterfly over the Karambit. I disagree. If you're not a ADHD person that needs something to fidget and you like a more elegant look, you're more of like a knife enjoyer, not a knife lover. If y'all get what I'm saying here, you get the
Mhm.
Karambit.
All right. So next up
All
on
right.
our list,
We have
we have
the
the
bayonets,
M9 bayonet.
the bayonet's big brother,
Big brother, gigantic brother,
and
humongous knife.
big manly knife. You know the Huntsman was a manly knife. This is for like
John
massive
Rambo.
buff. You fight, yeah, the Rambo. You fight grizzly bears with your hands, type of
If you
thing.
watched a Joe Rogan Experience, you probably want this knife. You know, this is like you fight a bear while on DMT. You're probably using this knife. It's insane. It's
Yeah.
a cool. It's a badass knife. I mean, the animation's
Absolutely.
pretty sick. Not as cool as the bayonets, but it has a nice little clean flip up with his hand. Blade is comically large, so of course every
The
finish looks
finishes.
insane on it.
Crazy. The gem knives on this knife
Are
are
ridiculous. It looks like an actual lightsaber. Like
yeah,
it is,
it's got that lightsaber look to it. Yeah, I mean, and the pull-out animation is, I think, very similar to the classic knife, in
It
my
is.
opinion. And it doesn't have any rare animations, but do you really need one with a, you know, such a nice knife?
I don't think you need one with a knife that looks like this. And this is probably one of my favorite knives in the game. Is again, I think we all
agree.
know where this one's going as well.
Yeah, I mean, this
I think it's going up.
This is going in S tier.
S tier.
Not
Not as nice as the other S tier knives, but an S tier knife nonetheless. which
I
is one of
agree.
the
I
best.
think it's absolutely cream of the crop in terms of CSGO knives. It's absolutely up there. I think it does not. No, I mean the other two are definitely higher. However, this is definitely a S tier knife. There's just these two would be SS plus. You know. That we
Yeah,
like to
exactly.
talk about that rank, but yeah, these are just a little bit higher up.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
And on the opposite end of the spectrum,
on the other end, the Navaja knife. I
We have
cannot possibly explain to you how excited I am to get to this knife. Because how much I hate this knife. This is the ugliest knife in the game. I want to see a single Navaja defender in the comments talk about the knife is no. This knife fucking sucks, and you know it too.
it's a spoon. You bought a spoon. Boy, you bought a $200 spoon, bro. Are you serious? At that point, just get a spoon. Like, I'm serious. Oh
Look,
my god.
You know how we talked about the gut knife being like 90% handle? This is 100% handle. This is 95% handle and 5% blade. The blade is so tiny. The handle looks like a piece of dookie, bro. I really hate this knife.
Yeah,
I
the handle finish is like this ceramic, like wood look, and it just. I don't like it. And it stays the same on every finish. It's just the metal part that changes. So, yeah, let's say you get a gem finish. I don't know why you would for a Navaja. It only changes the little top part. Half of the knife still stays the same color. Why would you get a gem finish on this?
The only benefit, and I argue it's not really a benefit, because, you know, I would rather go out and get a nice dinner than buy a Navaja.
You know how many dinners you get with that, bro?
You could get some. You could. This is
like,
technically probably the cheapest knife in the game.
It is.
If you get
100%.
a scorched, battle scarred Navaja stat track, I guarantee that shit's probably $10.
It's just like $40, $50,
and you can go get some McDonald's with that $10. It's not even worth it.
Yeah, no. I mean, what good is there? It has some like little engravings at the top. Maybe you like that. I don't know. And you know the standard flip animation for knives that flip out.
I hate that flip animation. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It looks weird. I think it looks goofy.
It's like delayed, it takes a second for the knife to come out.
It has the same issue that it has for me with the game with the MP5 slap animation, where he kind of looks like he's like lagging. Like, I don't even know. It doesn't like the Bowie knife had a nice fluid animation. This looks like just sticky, and it just looks really bad. I hate it. I don't like this knife. F tier.
Yucky knife. This right here it's our only F tier, I think.
Probably. I think it's the only F tier knife in the whole game.
It's the stock knives are better than this knife. Just keep the stock knife. It's not even a debate.
It's not even you would literally. I would rather you run any knife than besides the Navaja, please, for your own sake.
Indeed. Okay.
On the other hand, next up we have.
This is the
Nomad.
The simple knife at one point, right? And I think it's a pretty cool knife. It's got some merits to it. So let's talk about it. Oh, I got the rare animation.
He cuts himself somehow through some thick gloves. I don't really know how it's twice in a row. Insane.
Oh no! So that's the normal pull-out animation. The rare one, he cuts his finger. But I love this pull-out animation.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think people like.
That's badass.
A lot. It's so sick. The way he grabs his knife and then like flicks it into his like
from
other
the blade,
hand.
which is kind of crazy.
And
it's a cool knife.
So clean. I think the knife itself is crazy clean.
Yeah, it's an insane model. I think the only problem I have with it is the blade is a little short. Not like by much. I think it's honestly comparable with. It's a little smaller knife, but it's a cool knife nonetheless. I think actually my main issue with this is not enough finishes for it. That's because it's new. Yeah. I feel like once it has more finishes, I'll be a big fan of it. It's a dope ass knife, highly underrated. I didn't even know the name of it, so that clearly shows you. But it's a cool knife.
It's an underrated knife. It's got a cool blue gem. It's got a really cool special animation. I got it.
Ooh.
This is cocool.
Ooh.
So what's cool is I don't think we mentioned the fact that with a lot of these rare animations, another added bonus is that you can keep holding your inspect button and it keeps doing it. Which this is such a cool inspect. I mean, he just you inspect it from both sides. Let's say you have like a case hardened or something that's different, on both sides.
Yeah, with an asymmetrical pattern.
Then this you get to see both sides and inspect it, and I think case hardens on this knife are really cool.
That is actually really cool if you have a blue gem and then like another finish on the other side. I think that's a sick animation. This knife's clearly, I think it's pretty underrated. Like I said before, I didn't even know the name of it. I didn't even know that had a rare animation. I didn't even know that animation worked. It's a cool knife though. I like it a lot. I'm giving that a B tier.
B tier.
Falchion knife probably
over the Falchion.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah. This is good. I would say the classic is a little.
I do like my little kitchen knife in B tier, pulling down the middle of it.
This is the Paracord Knife. Okay, how do we feel about this?
You know, first off, that animation's kind of cool. I like,
I
again,
think-
another
I think-
asymmetrical thing.
Yep. Is this a
The
rare
knife
animation?
itself
There must-
looks
I think this is the.
really funky, though. The blade looks really wacky. It looks like a sci-fi knife, weirdly enough, and I don't know how to feel about it, but the animations are really cool on this knife. So
I agree. It's got a different.
it has a rare deploy animation. I know that much.
Correct.
With his left hand, badass knife. I'm not even gonna lie.
Tosses to one side, super cool. We like that.
I think it's a pretty cool knife. I really can't say I dislike it that much. I just
Yeah,
think
I
it
can-
looks a little weird. I don't like the big bump on the top towards the
I
front of the
agree.
handle.
I think the issue with this knife here is, I don't know. Maybe if you like paracord, like grips on your knives, and you'd probably like that in game. I could see that. However, I think the issue with this knife is the blade. It's got what are these cutouts? It looks weird to me.
It looks like a skyscraper. I just don't understand it.
It's a super long
like-
knife. It's a long knife. But,
Huge blade.
I think the cutouts put it down for me.
Yeah, I want to like this knife a lot. I think though I'm unfortunately gonna have to give it probably a C tier. I don't think it's D tier.
I don't
I
think
think
it's
it's
D
C
tier. I
tier.
think it's C tier. Yeah.
I don't like it as
do
much.
we like
I,
it? Now, no, I
do
like it more
like
than
it
the
more than
Bowie
the
because
Bowie
the
knife.
Bowie doesn't show the hand. This one,
Yeah. And this one shows your left hand and you throw it from your left hand. I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Next up, the only akimbo knives in the game, Shadow Daggers.
here they are. Okay, wow, these are dark. Holy.
Yo, yeah, this is like a ninja loadout. That was, man. Another guy with snow leopards on. Is this
Oh,
the
this is
second
kinda
time that this has happened again?
It's always like
Or
this
he has,
dude.
he has snake skins. It's always this dude with these gloves, bro. The
But
Shadow Daggers.
yeah, let's talk about these. Okay, so I know the community tends to have a very negative, outlook towards these knives.
Unwarranted in my opinion.
I agree. Obviously, the screen shake when you take the knives out is horrible. It's
Yeah.
noticeable. We don't like it. It's a bug. I think it will be fixed in CS2. We'll see if it is, on launch day. But that's a negative. The pull-out
Yeah, I think
animation
it's
itself
really weird.
is nice.
It's pretty dope though. It's so cool. Two knives? I mean, what game? There's no other two knives. It's you really have you can literally give someone a 1-2 combo in
Yep.
CS:GO
Boom,
with these
boom.
knives. Like
It
it's the
is
only way you can
kinda
do that
sick.
outside of Danger Zone, and no one plays Danger Zone. So this is the only way you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
These gloves, these knives look sick. And another thing, ridiculously cheap. Even the gems are insanely cheap compared to other gems. I mean, this is like, if you really want a budget knife, I feel like this and maybe the Huntsman. This is another good pick for a budget knife. They
I
look so
agree.
cool. I'm a big fan of the
Specifically,
Shadow
I
Daggers.
think specifically what shines on these Shadow Daggers is the gem finishes. Whole blade, whole surrounding blade, gets the color, and then the inner metal part, you know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah,
the
the
center
middle piece.
triangle gets this really cool with the sapphires. It gets this teal color, which is very nice. With the rubies, it gets this red, and emerald, it gets this very nice shade of green.
It
if you
looks
want-
it looks futuristic almost on some of the
Yeah,
gem
I-
finishes.
I mean, yeah, it's so cool. It looks like it reminds me of the Halo swords a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Which
like
is-
little mini energy swords.
Now let's talk about the bad part of this knife. It's tiny. I mean, that is the biggest complaint. They're tiny.
The smallest knives, and they, especially with this, I think we kind of got an unfortunate. I did not know how dark the
I
stock
didn't
Shadow
either.
Daggers are. These don't even look like these are knives anymore. Like they're so tiny.
They're very
Um,
tiny, but yeah.
So I'm sure if we put like a finish on them, they're probably a little bit less obtuse looking. But I like these knives. I think they're overhated by far. I think these are
agree as well.
overhated. I don't think these are insane. I think you could put them. I think they should go top of C tier, maybe lowest B tier. I think that's where
I
it
would
fits
put them.
in.
I would put them bottom of C tier.
Bottom of C. You would put it below the Bowie.
Because with the Bowie, here's the thing
You
with
do
the
get
Bowie.
a
you get
gigantic blade with the finishes, though.
I think the massive blade size carries it just a tiny bit more.
Okay, yeah, I could agree with that. That's actually fair enough. I didn't think about it I was just thinking about the hand thing, but yeah.
I think it's
You're right.
still overhated, like completely.
Yeah.
But they're good knives. It just has once again some flaws. Small blade, and then the pull-out animation.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Next up, we have the skeleton knife.
Okay.
Pretty dope
Scary
knife.
knife.
This is the first off rip. You
Helicopter,
talk about
helicopter.
ADHD. It's literally get the helicopter. This is like ADHD dream. This is actual fidget spinner, and you can hold it forever. And I love pushing a sight. bias, I have one. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, you can literally push a sight while helicoptering, and it just makes you feel pretty dope when you do that. Then you just spray someone down. The blade on it is pretty decent sized. It's a cool looking knife.
Size.
I mean, has really cool animations. I think that's really, honestly, the coolest parts of it.
I would like to say some of the finishes on this knife are incredible.
Insane.
The fade on this knife, guys,
Insane.
Oh my God.
It's like $2,000, almost $3,000 for a fade.
2,000,
and it's
around $2,000.
It's like 2 to 3. Yeah, it's like I think it was like last time I checked, it was like 2,500 for one of the cheaper fades.
Yeah. I mean, it's on the expensive side, but warranted.
It's
This knife is. Wow. I think. Yeah. Let's talk about the animations. Y'all saw that?
That was crazy.
The rare animation, pull-out animation. Oh, the way he like flips it around his thumb.
Yeah, he's like
so
he
sick.
flips it around his thumb. I don't actually know how you like physically could do that. Every time I watch it, I don't really know how he managed to do it, but it looks so cool.
It looks cool.
I really don't
it
even
makes
care.
you feel like a damn ninja.
It really does. It's like a ninja blade. It looks so sick. And you know, it's honestly, I think one of the cooler parts about it is that actually the whole knife ends up getting a finish, and it's just wrapped by the tape around the handle. So
yeah.
you get like a fade. You can actually see like the fade from the bottom to the top of the blade, which probably looks insane, honestly, like 100% fades. You probably see every single color on them.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the little holes, I think look really cool because it's coming off of this like one centered hole that you spin the knife around. This is a sick ass knife.
Super cool knife. I think this easily deserves an A tier.
This is
badass
an easy
knife.
A tier. Now, here's the question: below or above the Bayo?
I think below the Bayo, unfortunately. I just don't
put
think
it-
you could
I would
dethrone that king. That animation on the I'm sorry, but
The
that
flip,
deploy animation is just too badass. To honestly, I
100%.
think it's just gonna maintain top of A tier for the rest of this list.
I
don't
agree.
think there's any other
Yeah.
knife.
Yep, for sure.
Next
Moving
up,
on, we
we have Stiletto, aka the Brixton Bully British Shanker
This is
knife.
the wand, bro. You want to be Harry Potter? Boom! You get this
Yeah.
bad
Oh,
boy.
especially with some of the finishes, it looks like an actual wand.
Yeah, with like a ruby. Yeah. I don't know. This is a very unique knife. I would say. I feel like this is you either hate it or love it.
I agree. This is a very polarizing knife. Hey, here's my problem with this knife. Ironically, this is a fundamental error that could never be fixed. It's called a stiletto knife. Obviously, it's going to have a really thin blade, really thin, long blade. I don't think it's long enough, though. I think it looks, again, it has the same issue with a lot of these other knives, where the 50% of the knife is handle. Like, more of it is handle than knife. And it's so thin, you can't really even see, like just even have a marble fade finish.
But yeah, the thing with this knife is that the blade is decently long, but what makes it look tiny is how thin it is. It makes the blade tiny, so you can't really see it. It's literally you're holding a massive like handle. So that I feel like for me personally, that's a bit of a drawback on this knife. Now animations, it's got
It does
a
have a
rare
marble
deploy.
fade. It does have a marble fade.
It does have a marble fade.
It
Okay.
looks really goofy because the blade is so small. Anyways,
Right.
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I had to double check that, but it's got a rare inspect animation.
It does have a rare inspect.
Which the rare inspect is pretty cool. You can keep holding it and it will keep
keep
tossing
looking
it
at
up in the air. Let's see if I get it here.
Yep.
But yeah, rare inspect, no rare pull out animation.
Here's one thing that I think is kind of insane about this knife. The prices are wild.
It
on
just
this
randomly
knife.
skyrocketed.
They're like the Sapphire's $5,000.
Oh my
Like,
god.
I'm sorry, but I don't
Crazy
know about
overpriced.
that. I would rather get a lot of those SS plus, S tier knives, A tier knives. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of the stiletto knife. That might be in the minority.
No, I agree.
But-
I am not as well. I don't know what the hype around it is. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know why they're thousands of dollars for gem finishes. I think they're crazy overpriced, honestly.
Yeah,
What do
even
we
the
think?
fade is like 1,000 minimum. I personally think this is a D tier knife, in my opinion. I hate to say it.
I don't know if it's D tier. I would put
It's
it.
definitely
I'd
better
say
than
C
the gut
tier.
knife. We could do C tier for it. I'd be okay with putting it in C tier. I don't know if I like it more than,
I'll put it.
honestly.
Ah,
You know what? I'll be fine putting it on top of C tier. I know I was just saying I don't really
I'll
like
put
it that much.
I'll put it top
But
of C tier. I'm coping a
Clearly,
little bit
there's
here. I want to put it
clearly
lower.
there is a lot of desire for this knife. So, hey,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
whatever.
We listen to what the
it's-
people say.
we listen to people say. I think C tier is good. And, you know, we might get crucified for that. They might say it's an SS plus tier knife.
We just
I
don't
disagree
see it.
with
I
you.
don't know. It's a small knife, honestly.
It's a tiny little knife. It just is too small.
Yep.
Next up,
Survival knife.
Oh, it's this one.
This is the odd
This
chicken of
is
the group.
okay. This is like a Frankenstein of. Okay, that animation is bad.
That's the rare.
That might have been.
It's cool.
That was insanely sick.
That is a
cool. That is a ridiculously badass animation. As for the knife itself, I don't know how I feel about it. It kind of looks like a mutt. It has 3 different knives in one. We got gut knife hook. We got the weird
paracord
that
knife
was in the paracord
knife.
and
Serrated
then, like,
edge.
serrated edge. It was
The blade of the Ursus knife. What is going on with this knife, man? Make up your mind.
It's like a Frankenstein knife, but I do think the animation that it had was insane.
It's really cool.
So I mean, I can't even hate, honestly. That was kind of badass.
I'm trying to see. This might be the rare animation.
Yep, that is I think the rare one.
Yep, this is the rare
It
animation.
is relatively cheap compared to most knives, but I don't think I'm a huge fan of this knife. The blade is a little wonky.
The blade is very wonky. It literally looks like multiple knives. It looks like something they were like, forged in fire. They're like the Mesopotamian hybrid mutt of 4 knives, bro. Like what is this, man? There's just so much going on with this blade.
It's like a sacrificial blade, and the worst part about it to me, it kind of gives me a little bit of gut knife chode syndrome, where it's a little bit thick, but it also is misshapen. I don't know how I feel about this knife, but I don't dislike it.
It was executed really weird.
It's a weird execution for a knife, although I do think I like it more than some of our other knives. I don't know if it deserves. I think it might go behind the Paracord, in my opinion.
I would agree.
Although I feel like, honestly, I'd probably run the Bowie.
I would run the Bowie over this. The blade is all over the place for me. I don't know what's going on with this knife.
It's such a weird knife. I don't really know how to feel about it. I do think it does the gut knife hook better than other knives, but then it does everything else. It's a little OD.
All right, guys.
Finish up.
Let's finish up with the last 2. And the next knife on our list is, I believe, the Talon.
The Talon.
The little brother of the Karambit.
Brand new Karambit.
Okay.
So, I actually like everything except that animation, weirdly enough.
Really? That's interesting.
So here's what's weird about the animation to me. And I've been trying to put my finger on this for a while, and I don't like it that much. I don't like... So you know how the Karambit, he spins it with his palm facing towards you? I don't like how he kind of spins it by, going like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a weird rattle. I will agree. It has a really weird rattle sound to it.
It does. I don't like that. That's the part 2. It's like I don't like how it rattles when you spin it. But I do like the animation.
But wait, there we go.
Okay, that was kind of crazy. That
looked really cool. But it's got a weird rattle when he spins it in a hook. I think, if you like the fidget spinner animations, there you go. You've got an infinite spinning blade, which is nice. Keep holding the inspect button.
True.
I think once again, the pull out animation. This one's divisive. Some people say the Karambit's better. I think this one's cooler. Yeah, it's got
it has a cooler pull animation than the Karambit, in my opinion.
And
I like the blade on it too. It looks pretty cool as well.
Does it look better than the Karambit?
No,
it doesn't.
But it looks cool. But it doesn't look better than the Karambit. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good knife still. That's the one part I don't like about it, is the rattling and that animation particularly. I just really don't know why I don't like it. I'm probably one of the few people who probably said that. Other than that, I think the knife's pretty fire.
I mean, serrated little circles and the serrated part is cool. It does not make you look better than the Karambit, though.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. With that being said, this is definitely an A-tier knife. Low.
Yeah.
I would say it's above the
A-tier knife. I'd say it's above the Huntsman, behind the skeleton. Yeah. I think it's an A-tier knife. I like this knife a lot. I just don't like that one animation, but other than that, I think it's great.
And I would like to mention before we do our last knife is that the good thing about the Karambit and the Talon is that you can chain the animations very fluidly together. It's such a, the more fluid animations are with knives, the better you can chain them together. So you can get these cool, intricate looking, hand movements, which is pretty cool.
And I think that's the one thing you didn't mention about the Nomad knife is that because he deploys from his left hand, when you inspect, it literally just materializes in his right hand.
Yeah, exactly. I did forget to mention it.
Really silly
with the Nomad. If you want to go straight to inspect, he cuts off the animation and it just materializes. It looks weird. With that being said,
not least,
let's get to the last
the
one.
Ursus Knife.
The Ursus Knife.
I'm gonna let you speak on this one
Okay,
because you
see,
have some experience.
I do. I used to own this knife, and let's talk about the animations. It's got a rare deploy animation, which is the throw. Very cool.
Cool.
You know, and then we've got a rare inspect, which is another one of those helicopter animations.
You're right.
There goes 2 rare animations in one. Boom. From the throw into the spin. Once again, I think this is sick.
That.
The sound is nice. The like the whooshing sound.
Very satisfying noise.
The finishes on this knife pop when you're inspecting it. Now let's talk about the blade.
I like the blade. I think it's like a little Tanto type blade. It kind of has like that tactical Tanto blade. I don't really know why they felt the need to put like a serrated part on it. I like towards the bottom half. I just don't really understand the thought process behind ever doing that, in my opinion.
Serrated parts are a little bit weird, I would agree. I think, yeah, it reminds me of a little katana. I think the edges on the knife are very nice. I think it's a good solid length, not as long as some other ones like the M9s, but this one's a solid, large size, and it's respectable.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good knife. I think one of the other things, and I don't know about necessarily every finish, but I do kind of wish that a lot more of the knives, especially this one in particular, the handle changed when you get different finishes. Not saying necessarily the beige doesn't look good, but it doesn't change. It only changes with ultraviolet, and I think Crimson Web, it has a black handle. So I just don't know why they didn't do it for any of the gems. It's a little confusing to me.
It is weird, but one of the gems, so I would like to mention, the cool thing about this is I feel like black pearls on this knife specifically are wonderful looking. I don't know, something about the way the blade looks and the way black pearls look. Just check out how black pearls look on this knife. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good knife. I don't think this is a bad knife by any means.
Taking everything to account, I would like to put this in a B tier.
Yeah, I agree. Where in B tier though? Definitely above the Falchion. Probably above the Nomad.
Oh,
maybe above the kitchen knife. Ooh. I don't know, man. The kitchen knife kind of has a chokehold on it. I'm not gonna lie. I like that knife a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that up to you. I think I'm okay with putting it above the kitchen knife, but I'm gonna leave the final decision up to you with that one.
You know what? No, we're gonna put the respect on the
classic
OG knife that it deserves. Well, yeah. Absolutely. I think I feel very comfortable with this list. I think everything is where it should be.
Yeah, I feel like this is a great, especially the Navaja. I actually kind of wish we could make another tier.
Wait, one more lower. We do like E.
Yeah, F minus tier.
Yeah, the Navaja is just I mean, yeah, gut knife.
I'm sorry, that knife. Gut knife is unfortunately, I kind of wish I liked it a little bit more. Like, I feel bad about placing the gut knife in D tier, but every other knife I feel fine about.
I agree. There's a few bad knives in CS, and mostly all of them are good. It just depends on how we see them, how good they are.
Yeah, and of course, finishes make a huge difference. If you see something in C, you're like, oh, but I really like stiletto. I mean, okay, you might have a dope ass stiletto finish. Oh, I really like the shadow daggers. Well, you get a gem. Gems are amazing on them. So
the key takeaway point is, if you see something that's low and you like it, get it 100%. Just because it's slow, that's where we see it as, does not mean that you shouldn't get it. I think you guys should definitely get whatever knife that you think looks cool. That's what you should get, okay?
Unless it's the Navaja
don't watch
knife.
Somebody's tier, like our tier list, it's for fun. But don't watch. I mean, you're watching a tier list right now. But what I'm trying to say is, get the knife that you think looks the coolest.
We're not the objective authorities on what knives look good and what don't. Except for the Navaja knife. We are objectively saying that is a piece of shit knife. Do not get it. I'm please begging you.
Well, other than that, guys, let us know. Do y'all agree with this list? And I think
where would you place the knives that we misplaced that you think, on your opinion?
Yeah, let us know. But thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching through this video. We greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm gonna say peace.
Peace out.